Nemesis and the Candyman, a short story written by O. Henry and read for you in both Indonesian and English. Please enjoy. We sail at 8 in the morning on the Celtic, said Anuria, plucking a loose thread from her lace sleeve. Kita akan berlayar pada pukul 8 pagi dengan kapal Celtic, kata Honoria sambil mencabut benang yang longgar dari lengan renda gaunnya. I heard so, said young Ives, dropping his hat and muffing it as he tried to catch it, and I came around to wish you a pleasant voyage. Aku mendengarnya, kata pemuda Ives, menjatuhkan topinya dan gagal menangkapnya ketika mencoba meraihnya, dan aku datang untuk mendoakan perjalananmu yang menyenangkan. Of course you heard it, said Anuria, coldly sweet, since we have had no opportunity of informing you ourselves. Tentu saja kau mendengarnya, kata Honoria dengan nada dingin namun manis, karena kami belum sempat memberitahumu langsung. Ives looked at her pleadingly, but with little hope. Ives menatapnya dengan tatapan memohon, namun dengan harapan yang tipis. Outside in the street, a high-pitched voice chanted, not unmusically, a commercial gamut of "Kani ni fresh and is." Di luar di jalan, sebuah suara bernada tinggi melantunkan, dengan nada tak sepenuhnya fals, rangkaian komersial, permen segar, permen. It's our old Candyman, said Anuria, leaning out the window and beckoning. Itu penjual permen kita yang dulu, kata Honoria, bersandar ke jendela dan memberi isyarat memanggil. I want some of his motto kisses. There's nothing in the Broadway shops half so good. Aku mau membeli motto kisses miliknya. Tak ada yang sebanding di toko-toko Broadway. The Candyman stopped his pushcart in front of the old Madison Avenue home. Penjual permen itu menghentikan gerobaknya di depan rumah tua di Madison Avenue. He had a holiday and festival air unusual to street peddlers. Penampilannya tampak seperti liburan dan perayaan, sesuatu yang tak biasa bagi pedagang keliling. His tie was new and bright red, and a horseshoe pin, almost life-size, glittered speciously from its folds. Dasi yang dikenakannya baru dan berwarna merah menyala, dan sebuah pin berbentuk tapal kuda, nyaris berukuran asli, berkilau mencurigakan di lipatannya. His brown, thin face was crinkled into a semi-foolish smile. Wajahnya yang kurus dan coklat berkerut dengan senyum agak bodoh. Striped cuffs with dog-head buttons covered the tan on his wrists. Manset garis-garis dengan kancing bergambar kepala anjing menutupi kulit kecoklatan di pergelangan tangannya. I do believe he's going to get married, said Anuria, pityingly. Kupikir dia akan menikah, kata Honoria dengan nada iba. I never saw him taken that way before. Belum pernah kulihat dia begitu sebelumnya. And today is the first time in months that he has cried his wares, I am sure. Dan hari ini pertama kalinya selama berbulan-bulan dia menawarkan dagangannya dengan berteriak, aku yakin. Ives threw a coin to the sidewalk. The Candyman knows his customers. Ives melemparkan koin ke trotoar. Penjual permen itu mengetahui pelanggannya. He filled a paper bag, climbed the old-fashioned stoop and handed it in. Ia mengisi sebuah kantong kertas, naik ke beranda kuno itu, lalu menyerahkannya. I remember, said Ives. Aku ingat, kata Ives. Wait, said Anuria. Tunggu, kata Honoria. She took a small portfolio from the drawer of a writing desk, and from the portfolio a slip of flimsy paper 1/4 of an inch by 2 inches in size. Ia mengambil sebuah map kecil dari laci meja tulis, lalu dari map itu dia mengeluarkan secari kertas tipis berukuran 1/4 inci kali 2 inci. This, said Anuria inflexibly, was wrapped about the first one we opened. Ini, kata Honoria, tanpa goyah, terbungkus pada permen pertama yang kami buka? It was a year ago, apologized Ives as he held out his hand for it. Itu terjadi setahun lalu. Ives meminta maaf sambil mengulurkan tangannya untuk mengambil kertas itu. As long as skies above are blue to you, my love, I will be true. Selama langit di atas tetap biru untukmu, kasih, ku kan selalu setia. This he read from the slip of flimsy paper. Itulah yang ia baca dari secari kertas tipis itu. We were to have sailed a fortnight ago, said Honoria gossipingly. Seharusnya kami sudah berlayar 2 minggu lalu, kata Honoria dengan nada bergosip. It has been such a warm summer. The town is quite deserted. There is nowhere to go. Musim panas ini sangat panas. Kotanya hampir kosong. Tak ada tempat yang bisa dikunjungi. Yet I am told that 1 or 2 of the roof gardens are amusing. Meski begitu, ku dengar 1 atau 2 taman atap lumayan menghibur. The singing and the dancing on 1 or 2 seem to have met with approval. Nyanyiannya dan tariannya di 1-2 tempat tampaknya cukup diterima baik. Ives did not wince. When you are in the ring, you are not surprised when your adversary taps you on the ribs. Ives tak bergeming. Jika kau di atas ring, tak mengejutkan kalau lawanmu mengetuk tulang rusukmu. I followed the Candyman that time, said Ives irrelevantly, and gave him $5 at the corner of Broadway. Aku membuntuti si penjual permen waktu itu, kata Ives tanpa relevansi, dan memberinya $5 di sudut Broadway. He reached for the paper bag in Honoria's lap, took out one of the square, wrapped confections, and slowly unrolled it. Ia meraih kantong kertas di pangkuan Honoria, mengambil salah satu permen persegi yang terbungkus, lalu perlahan membukanya. Sarah Chillingworth's father, said Honoria, has given her an automobile. Ayah Sarah Chillingworth, kata Honoria, memberinya sebuah mobil. Read that, said Ives, handing over the slip that had been wrapped around the square of candy. Baca ini, kata Ives, menyerahkan secari kertas yang membungkus permen itu. Life teaches us how to live, love teaches us to forgive. Hidup mengajari kita bagaimana caranya hidup, cinta mengajari kita bagaimana caranya memaafkan. Honoria's cheeks turned pink. Pipi Honoria berubah merona. Honoria, cried Ives, starting up from his chair. Honoria, seru Ives, bangkit dari kursinya. Miss Clinton, corrected Honoria, rising like Venus from the bead on the surf. Nona Clinton, koreksi Honoria, bangkit bat Venus yang muncul dari buih ombak. I warned you not to speak that name again. Aku sudah memperingatkanmu untuk tidak menyebut nama itu lagi. Honoria, repeated Ives, you must hear me. I know I do not deserve your forgiveness, but I must have it. Honoria, ulang Ives, kau harus mendengarku. Aku tahu aku tak pantas mendapat maafmu, tapi aku harus mendapatkannya. There is a madness that possesses one sometimes for which his better nature is not responsible. Ada kegilaan yang kadang merasuki seseorang, dan sifat terbaiknya tak mampu mencegah. I throw everything else but you to the winds. I strike off the chains that have bound me. Aku buang semua hal lain kecuali dirimu. Aku lepaskan rantai yang membelengguku. I renounce the siren that lured me from you. Aku menolak sirene yang telah menyesatkanku darimu. Let the bought verse of that street peddler plead for me. Biarkan syair beliannya si pedagang jalanan itu memohonkan kebaikan untukku. It is you only whom I can love. Hanya engkaulah yang bisa kucintai. Let your love forgive, and I swear to you that mine will be true as long as skies above are blue. Biarlah cintamu memaafkan, dan kumohon padamu, cintaku akan setia, selama langit di atas masih biru. On the west side between 6th and 7th Avenues, an alley cuts the block in the middle. Di sisi barat, di antara 6th dan 7th Avenue, ada sebuah gang yang membelah blok di tengah-tengah. It perishes in a little court in the center of the block. Gang itu berakhir di sebuah pelataran kecil di tengah-tengah blok. The district is theatrical. The inhabitants, the bubbling froth of half a dozen nations. Wilayah itu bernuansa teater, para penghuninya ibarat buih mencuak dari setengah lusin bangsa. The atmosphere is bohemian, the language polyglot, the locality precarious. Suaranya bergaya bohemia, bahasanya campur aduk, tempatnya pun tak menentu. In the court, at the rear of the alley, lived the Candyman. Di pelataran belakang gang itu tinggallah si penjual permen. At 7 o'clock, he pushed his cart into the narrow entrance, rested it upon the irregular stone slats, and sat upon one of the handles to cool himself. Pukul 7, Ia mendorong gerobaknya ke pintu masuk sempit, menopangnya di atas deretan batu tak rata, lalu duduk di salah satu pegangan gerobak untuk menyejukkan diri. There was a great draft of cool wind through the alley. Udara sejuk berembus kencang melalui gang itu. There was a window above the spot where he always stopped his pushcart. Di atas tempatnya biasa menghentikan gerobak, ada sebuah jendela. In the cool of the afternoon, Malia Dell, drawing card of the aerial roof garden, sat at the window and took the air. Saat sore yang sejuk, Nona Adele, bintang utama aerial roof garden, duduk di jendela itu menikmati udara. Generally, her ponderous mass of dark auburn hair was down, that the breeze might have the felicity of aiding Sydney, the maid, in drying and airing it. Biasanya, kumpulan rambut auburn gelap miliknya terurai, agar angin punya kesempatan membantu Sidonie, pembantunya, untuk mengeringkan dan menyejukkan rambut itu. About her shoulders, the point of her that the photographers always made the most of was loosely draped a heliotrope scarf. Di sekitar bahunya, bagian yang paling sering disorot fotografer, tersampir longgar selendang berwarna heliotrope. Her arms to the elbow were bare, there were no sculptors there to rave over them. But even the stolid bricks in the walls of the alley should not have been so insensate as to disapprove. Lengannya hingga siku terbuka, tak ada pemahat di sana untuk mengaguminya, tetapi bahkan bata-bata keras di dinding gang itu tak seharusnya begitu mati rasa hingga tidak setuju. While she sat thus Felice, another maid, anointed and bathed the small feet that twinkled and so charmed the nightly aerial audiences. Sementara dia duduk seperti itu, Felice, pembantu lainnya, meminyaki dan membasuh kaki kecilnya yang selalu menari dan memikat penonton aerial setiap malam. Gradually Mademoiselle began to notice the candy man stopping to mop his brow and cool himself beneath her window. Lama-lama, Mademoiselle sadar bahwa si penjual permen kerap berhenti untuk mengusap keringat di dahinya dan menyejukkan diri di bawah jendelanya. In the hands of her maids, she was deprived for the time of her vocation, the charming and binding to her chariot of man. Di tangan para pelayannya, ia untuk sementara kehilangan pekerjaannya, mempesona dan menaklukkan hati pria. To lose time was displeasing to Mademoiselle. Kehilangan waktu adalah hal yang tidak disukai Mademoiselle. Here was the candy man, no fit game for her darts, truly, but of the sex upon which she had been born to make war. Ada si penjual permen, jelas bukan sasaran yang pantas untuk panah asmara, tapi ia tetaplah dari jenis kelamin yang harus ditaklukkannya. After casting upon him looks of unseeing coldness for a dozen times, one afternoon she suddenly thawed and poured down upon him a smile that put to shame the sweets upon his cart. Usai melayangkan tatapan dingin tak peduli padanya puluhan kali, suatu sore dia tiba-tiba lulu dan melepaskan sebuah senyuman padanya, senyuman yang membuat manisan dalam gerobaknya tampak memalukan. "Candyman," she said, cooingly while Sydney followed her impulsive dive, brushing the heavy auburn hair, "don't you think I am beautiful?" "Tuan penjual permen," katanya dengan nada merdu, sementara Sidonie mengikuti gerakan impulsifnya sambil menyisir rambut auburn lebat itu, "bukankah kau pikir aku ini cantik?" The candy man laughed harshly and looked up with his thin jaw set, while he wiped his forehead with a red and blue handkerchief. Si penjual permen tertawa kasar, menengadah dengan rahang kurus yang tegang, sambil mengusap dahinya dengan sapu tangan merah biru. "You'd make a dandy magazine cover," he said grudgingly. "Kau bakal cocok untuk sampul majalah," katanya, setengah menggerutu. "Beautiful or not is for them that cares. It's not my line. If you're looking for bouquets, apply elsewhere between 9 and 12. I think we'll have rain." "Mau cantik atau tidak, itu urusan orang yang peduli. Itu bukan wilayahku. Kalau kau cari pujian, carilah di tempat lain antara jam 9 dan 12. Kupikir kita akan kehujanan." Truly, fascinating a candy man is like killing rabbits in a deep snow. But the hunter's blood is widely diffused. Memang, merayu seorang penjual permen ibarat berburu kelinci di tengah salju tebal, tapi darah pemburu mudah terpancing. Mademoiselle tugged a great coil of hair from Sydney's hands and let it fall out the window. Mademoiselle menarik segumpal rambut tebal dari tangan Sidonie dan menjuntaikannya keluar jendela. Candyman, have you a sweetheart anywhere with hair as long and soft as that? And with an arm so round? Tuan penjual permen, apakah kau punya kekasih di manapun yang rambutnya sepanjang dan selembut ini, dan lengannya sebulat ini? She flexed an arm like Galatea's after the miracle across the windowsill. Dia menekuk lengannya bagai Galatea setelah keajaiban, melampaui ambang jendela. The Candyman cackled shrilly as he arranged a stock of butterscotch that had tumbled down. Si penjual permen terkikik nyaring sambil menata stok permen butterscotch yang berjatuhan. "Smoke up," said he vulgarly. "Mulai saja pamer," katanya, kasar. "Nothing doing in the complimentary line. I'm too wise to be bamboozled by a switch of hair and a newly massaged arm. Tak ada urusan dengan puji-pujian. Aku terlalu sadar untuk dibodohi oleh rambut palsu dan lengan yang baru dipijat. Oh, I guess you'll make good in the calcium, all right, with plenty of powder and paint on and the orchestra playing under the old apple tree. Oh, kurasa kau akan tampil bagus di bawah sorotan lampu, memakai banyak bedak dan riasan, dengan iringan orkes memainkan Under the Old Apple Tree. But don't put on your hat and chase downstairs to fly to the little church around the corner with me. Tapi jangan pasang topimu dan lari ke bawah untuk menikah diam-diam denganku. I've been up against peroxide and makeup boxes before. Aku sudah sering berurusan dengan pirang palsu dan kotak rias. Say, all joking aside, don't you think we'll have rain? Dengar, serius deh, kau tak rasa kita akan kehujanan? Candyman, said Mademoiselle softly, with her lips curving and her chin dimpling, don't you think I'm pretty? Tuan penjual permen, ujar Mademoiselle lembut, bibirnya membentuk senyum, dagunya membentuk lesung, bukankah kau pikir aku ini cantik? The Candyman grinned. Si penjual permen menyeringai. Savon money year, said he, by being your own press agent. I smoke, but I haven't seen your mug on any of the 5-cent cigar boxes. Menghemat uang, ya, ujarnya, dengan jadi humas untuk diri sendiri. Aku merokok, tapi belum pernah kulihat wajahmu di kotak cerutu 5 sen. It'd take a new brand of woman to get me going. Anyway, butuh tipe wanita benar-benar baru untuk menggerakkanku bagaimanapun. I know em from side combs to shoelaces. Kukenal mereka mulai dari sisir rambut sampai tali sepatu. Give me a good day's sales and steak and onions at 7 and a pipe and an evening paper back there in the court, and I'll not trouble Lillian Russell herself to wink at me, if you please. Berilah aku jualan yang laris, makan steak dan bawang jam 7, kelas pipa dan koran malam di pelataran itu, dan aku tak akan repot-repot minta Lillian Russell sendiri mengedip padaku, kalau kau tak keberatan. Mademoiselle pouted. Mademoiselle Magnon. Candyman, she said softly and deeply, yet you shall say that I am beautiful. Tuan penjual permen, katanya, lembut dan dalam, kau akan mengakui bahwa aku ini cantik. All men say, so and so shall you. Semua pria mengatakannya, dan kau pun begitu. The Candyman laughed and pulled out his pipe. Si penjual permen tertawa, lalu mengeluarkan pipanya. Well, said he, I must be going in. There is a story in the evening paper that I am reading. Baiklah, katanya, aku harus masuk. Ada cerita di koran sore yang sedang kubaca. Men are diving in the seas for a treasure, and pirates are watching them from behind a reef. Ada pria yang menyelam di laut mencari harta, dan bajak laut mengintai di balik karang. And there ain't a woman on land or water or in the air. Good evening. Dan tak ada wanita di darat, air, atau udara. Selamat sore. And he trundled his pushcart down the alley and back to the musty court where he lived. Lalu ia mendorong gerobaknya menyusuri gang, kembali ke pelataran lembab tempat ia tinggal. Incredibly to him who has not learned woman, Mademoiselle sat at the window each day and spread her nets for the ignominious game. Sulit dipercaya bagi yang belum mengenal perempuan, Mademoiselle tetap duduk di jendela setiap hari, menjaring mangsa yang tampak hina itu. Once she kept a grand cavalier waiting in her reception chamber for half an hour while she battered in vain the Candyman's tough philosophy. Pernah dia membuat seorang pria terhormat menunggu di ruang tamunya selama setengah jam, sementara dia sia-sia menghantam filosofi keras si penjual permen. His rough laugh chafed her vanity to its core. Tawa kasarnya menggesek egonya sampai ke akar. Daily he sat on his cart in the breeze of the alley while her hair was being ministered to, and daily the shafts of her beauty rebounded from his dull bosom, pointless and ineffectual. Tiap hari dia duduk di gerobaknya di embusan angin gang itu sementara rambut Mademoiselle dirawat, dan tiap hari pesona kecantikan Mademoiselle terpantul tanpa daya dari dada bebalnya. Unworthy pique brightened her eyes. Amarah kecil yang tak pantas justru membuat matanya lebih bersinar. Pride hurt, she glowed upon him in a way that would have sent her higher adorers into an egoistic paradise. Karena harga dirinya terluka, dia menatapnya dengan pesona yang bisa membuat para pemujanya terbang ke nirwana kesombongan. The Candyman's hard eyes looked upon her with a half-concealed derision that urged her to the use of the sharpest arrow in her beauty's quiver. Mata keras si penjual permen menatapnya dengan cemooh terselubung, memaksa Mademoiselle menggunakan anak panah terhebat dalam tabung panah kecantikannya. One afternoon she leaned far over the sill, and she did not challenge and torment him as usual. Suatu sore, dia mencondongkan tubuh jauh melewati ambang jendela, dan tak lagi menantang atau menggodanya sebagaimana biasa. "Candyman," said she, "stand up and look into my eyes." "Tuan penjual permen," katanya, "berdirilah dan tatap mataku." He stood up and looked into her eyes with his harsh laugh like the sawing of wood. Dia berdiri dan menatap matanya, disertai tawa kasarnya yang mirip suara gergaji kayu. He took out his pipe, fumbled with it, and put it back into his pocket with a trembling hand. Dia mengeluarkan pipa, merabanya, lalu memasukkannya lagi ke dalam saku dengan tangan gemetar. "That will do," said Mademoiselle with a slow smile. "Cukup," kata Mademoiselle dengan senyum perlahan. "I must go now, my masseuse. Good evening." "Aku harus pergi sekarang ke terapis pijatku. Selamat sore." The next evening at 7 the Candyman came and rested his cart under the window. Esok malamnya, tepat pukul 7, si penjual permen datang dan menghentikan gerobaknya di bawah jendela. But was it the Candyman? Namun, benarkah itu si penjual permen? His clothes were a bright new check. His necktie was a flaming red, adorned by a glittering horseshoe pin, almost life-size. Pakaiannya bercorak kotak-kotak baru yang mencolok. Dasinya merah membara, dengan pin tapal kuda yang berkilau hampir seukuran aslinya. His shoes were polished, the tan of his cheeks had paled, his hands had been washed. Sepatunya disemir, warna coklat di pipinya memudar, tangannya sudah dicuci bersih. The window was empty, and he waited under it with his nose upward, like a hound hoping for a bone. Jendelanya kosong, dan dia menunggu di bawahnya dengan hidung terangkat, seperti anjing pemburu menanti lemparan tulang. Mademoiselle came, with Sydney carrying her load of hair. Mademoiselle muncul, diikuti Sidonie yang membawa tumpukan rambutnya. She looked at the Candyman and smiled a slow smile that faded away into ennui. Dia memandang si penjual permen, lalu tersenyum perlahan yang memudar menjadi kebosanan. Instantly she knew that the game was bagged, and so, quickly she wearied of the chase. Sekejap dia tahu incarannya telah jatuh dalam perangkap, dan secepat itu pula dia bosan dengan perburuannya. She began to talk to Sydney. Dia mulai berbicara dengan Sidonie. "Been a fine day," said the Candyman hollowly. "First time in a month I've felt first class." "Hari yang menyenangkan," kata si penjual permen dengan suara hampa. "Baru kali ini dalam sebulan aku merasa begitu prima." Hit it up down old Madison, hollering out like I used to. "Think it'll rain tomorrow?" Aku keliling Madison yang lama itu, berteriak menawarkan jualan seperti dulu. "Menurutmu besok hujan?" Mademoiselle laid 2 round arms on the cushion on the windowsill and a dimpled chin upon them. Mademoiselle meletakkan 2 lengan bulatnya di bantal di ambang jendela, dagu berlesungnya menempel di sana. Candyman, said she softly, do you not love me? Tuan penjual permen, katanya lembut, apakah kau tak mencintaiku? The Candyman stood up and leaned against the brick wall. Si penjual permen berdiri dan bersandar pada dinding bata. Lady, said he chokingly, I've got $800 saved up. Nona, katanya, dengan suara tersendat, aku punya tabungan $800. Did I say you wasn't beautiful? Take it, every bit of it, and buy a collar for your dog with it. Apakah aku pernah bilang kau tidak cantik? Ambillah semuanya dan belikan kalung untuk anjingmu. A sound as of 100 silvery bells tinkled in the room of Mademoiselle. Terdengar suara seperti 100 lonceng perak berdenting di kamar Mademoiselle. The laughter filled the alley and trickled back into the court, as strange a thing to enter there as sunlight itself. Tawanya memenuhi gang dan mengalir ke pelataran, sesuatu yang sama anehnya dengan sinar matahari menembus ke tempat itu. Mademoiselle was amused. Mademoiselle Terhaber. Sidney, a wise echo, added a sepulchral but faithful contralto. Sidonie, bagai gema yang bijak, menambahkan suara alto dalam yang agak menyeramkan tapi setia. The laughter of the two seemed at last to penetrate the Candyman. Tawa kedua perempuan itu akhirnya seakan menembus kesadaran si penjual permen. He fumbled with his horseshoe pin. Dia meraba pin tapal kuda di dasinya. At length Mademoiselle, exhausted, turned her flushed, beautiful face to the window. Akhirnya, Mademoiselle yang kelelahan menolehkan wajah cantik yang memerah ke arah jendela. Candyman, said she, go away. When I laugh, Sidney pulls my hair. Tuan penjual permen, ujarnya, pergilah, kalau aku tertawa, Sidonie menarik rambutku. I can but laugh while you remain there. Aku tak bisa menahan tawa selama kau ada di situ. Here is a note for Mademoiselle, said Felice, coming to the window in the room. Ada catatan untuk Mademoiselle, kata Felice, mendatangi jendela di kamar itu. There is no justice, said the Candyman, lifting the handle of his cart and moving away. Tak ada keadilan, ujar si penjual permen, mengangkat pegangan gerobaknya dan berlalu pergi. 3 yards he moved and stopped. Ia baru melangkah 3 meter, lalu berhenti. Loud shriek after shriek came from the window of Mademoiselle. Terdengar jeritan keras bertubi-tubi dari jendela Mademoiselle. Quickly he ran back. Dia segera berlari kembali. He heard a body thumping upon the floor and a sound as though heels beat alternately upon it. Dia mendengar suara tubuh terhantam ke lantai dan suara tumit yang seakan bergantian menghentaknya. What is it? He called. Ada apa? Teriaknya. Sidney's severe head came into the window. Kepala Sidonie yang serius muncul di jendela. Mademoiselle is overcome by bad news, she said. Mademoiselle terguncang oleh kabar buruk, katanya. One whom she loved with all her soul has gone. You may have heard of him. He is Monsieur Ives. Seseorang yang amat dia cintai telah pergi. Mungkin kau pernah dengar. Dia adalah Tuan Ives. He sails across the ocean tomorrow. Oh, you men. Dia akan berlayar menyeberangi samudra besok. Oh, kalian pria. The end. Thank you for listening and please subscribe for more bilingual stories. Check our playlist section to find optimal listening material for your language learning. We wish you a wonderful day.